Hope everyone had a great holidays. We've been back to practice. We brought all of our guys back on the 26th in the evening. Was our first practice back, so our guys got 3 days to go home and spend time with family during the holidays, which was good. To kind of recharge our batteries. Really tried to get our wind when we got back, as far as getting our guys back in shape. While they were gone, but we've been going really hard. I think we've had a couple of really good days of practice here. Obviously, we'll be starting up Big East play at Villanova, which we have great respect for Villanova. Obviously, they've been the flagship program in the Big East since we joined. It's a great opportunity for our team, though, to be able to go there and hopefully make a statement. And we know we're going to have to obviously play our best. Villanova's a very good team. They got great players. They're well coached. And they can beat you in a lot of different ways on the offensive end, just with their shooting and their playmaking with all their guards that they have and their depth. So, but we're excited for the opportunity to play at Nova.
Travis, why do you think that this trip in particular has been such a tough one for the program since you guys moved into the Big East?
I think number one, it's been tough for everybody in our Big East. It's. I think Villanova, I could be wrong in saying this, Adam. I think they've lost one game in the Big East at their on-campus arena. Maybe it's two. It's 2 games since we joined. So it's been bad for a lot of teams. They're pretty good. I mean, they got a really good team. They're well coached. But again, it's just a great opportunity for our guys. I said, hey, there's no better way to start the Big East than to play at Villanova. It's a great opportunity, and again, they put you in a bind. They really do. I mean, they spread you out all over the floor with their shooting. Sadiq Bey, Colin Gillespie, Justin Moore, Cole Swider. I mean, you think about all those guys. I mean, they shoot out to about 30 feet. So you have to guard that much space, which is really hard to do. And their spacing on offense is incredible. And on the defensive end, they play hard. They play together. They give multiple efforts. I mean, that's why it's hard. They got great players and they're well coached and they execute their system really well.
Does what happened last year and what you guys were able to do, not just in the game at Villanova, but in all 3 of those games, do you think that lends itself towards making you guys feel like, hey, you know what, it doesn't matter where we play these guys, we can play with them?
Yeah, I think how we finished just the year in general, we had several road wins at the end of the year last year. Winning at TCU, I thought we had the right mindset heading into that game as well. When road games always present different challenges. They really do. And but I think our guys, they do have a kind of quiet confidence, about them. We played, we beat Nova here. MSG, it was a tough finish there at the very end, but we had them right there, and they ended up winning, though. Give them all the credit in the world. And then they beat us at their place as well. But I think we were in all 3 games, that's for sure. So I do think our guys they know we can play with them now. We got to play really well, but we can definitely play with them.
Travis, has Villanova changed at all, or are they just the same formula we've seen year after year?
Yeah, it's the same formula. He recruits to his system very specifically. He recruits guys that are really smart, they're tough, they can shoot the ball really, really well from multiple spots on the floor. So again, it's the same. It's kind of the different players, but same old story a little bit for Villanova, how they play.
They've got some young guys, some freshmen who are playing a lot of minutes, but it seems sort of like seamless. I mean, they're really advanced players, I take it.
Yeah, the Justin Moore kid is incredible. He could shoot the ball so well. He came from DeMatha High School there in D.C., so he was obviously really well coached there by Mike Jones. Again, and he's a winner. I mean, he's a tremendous player. And then Jeremiah Robinson Earl, he was a McDonald's All-American. He's 6'9", skilled, can shoot, handle, pass, posts up, rebounds it. He does a little bit of everything. So those guys are playing big roles on their team right now, as they should. They execute at a high level.
Gillespie had a great Pan American Games, and he's just. They've had a long line of point guards with Archdiacono to Brunson to Gillespie.
Yeah, he's awfully good. I mean, he's as good to me as any guard in our league. He wins. You know, he's tough. He's very, very, very smart. He makes great decisions with the ball. All about winning. You know, he just gives multiple efforts, plays so hard, and shoots the ball obviously extremely well. You can't give him any daylight, or else that thing's going in. He's a great player. We're going to have our hands full, and we're going to try to, Paul on him some, Quentin on him some, even Najee, try to use his size and length on Colin Gillespie. But he's the head of the snake for sure for Villanova.
We saw Zach Fremantle knock down a three at TCU, and I was curious, that's obviously something that he can do, but how far away do you feel like we are from that being a really consistent or more consistent part of his game?
You know, Zach works really hard on his game. He gets up more shots than anybody on our team. And he really, and again, he's always been able to shoot, but I told him, he said, you got to earn that right, to shoot. Because I didn't want him to start playing all over. I wanted him to kind of conquer the low post area, which I think he's done a pretty good job of here in the non-conference. And I told him to let it fly at TCU, and his eyes lit up like it was Christmas. He can make shots. I have all the confidence in the world. I think you'll continue to see his role expand as the year goes on. He can even drive the ball a little bit. Like he's skilled. And he's a different type of post player. He's a little bit more. Again, we had Karam Cantor a couple years ago. Karam was kind of inside, kind of outside, kind of shoot him a little bit. We'd pop him. I think Zach could be that kind of player on the offensive end.
Another freshman, Kiki, was dealing with sort of maybe a sputtering in his confidence. It was kind of fleeting at times before the TCU trip, and then he does that at TCU, knocks down some shots, finishes off a tough drive. How would you characterize what that performance has done for him confidence-wise?
Obviously, it helps, and for Kiki, and you talk to, as we meet with our players individually, we told them, hey, you're a month behind. It kind of stinks, but it is what it is, and you got to stick with it. You got to earn your confidence through practice, extra reps. But it was nice to be able to see him get going because he can really change our team. I mean, he can give us a big jolt off that bench because he can score the ball, he can shoot the ball. I think he can play make too. Again, he's just got to get that confidence and swagger back to him on that end of floor.
We just saw at the end of practice one of Xavier's all-time greats walked into the gym, and you invited Romain Sato down into the huddle at the end of practice. And I'm curious what you said to the guys about him. Like, how did you explain to them who he was, and what was that moment like? Yeah,
Romain, he comes back every year. And he is as good of a player as he was. He's a better person, and number one, I wanted to make sure those guys knew how good of a player he was. He was obviously one of the all-time greats that's played here at Xavier. He played in the NBA. He played at the highest levels in Europe. But I wanted to make sure those guys knew why he got to where he played. And, my brother was an assistant here at Xavier at the time, and he was his position coach. And they would almost have to kick Romain out of the gym. His arm would always get sore and elbow sore just from, he would shoot shot after shot after shot after shot. And there's a reason why Romain Sato became so good. It's his work ethic. He has an elite work ethic. There's no magic pixie dust. And, talent will get you maybe here, but then your work ethic will keep you here. And I always say that, keep you at this level and help you play at this level. And I wanted to make sure they knew that, why Romain was such a good player. And then I asked Romain, I said, hey, do you have anything to say to our guys? And he said, well, hey, I watch every game. And he said, I'm proud of this team. I think you guys have a chance to be really good. He said, on the road, you got to be the first team to throw the first punch, like you did at TCU. And you got to be the aggressor. And so it's always good to have former players come back. I think, again, that shows that we have a true program here at Xavier and a family.
You had that heart-to-heart with Tyreek and with Q a few games ago, and you talked about leaving a legacy. This is their last bite at the apple in Philadelphia. And
yeah, there's no question. And And we're going to go as our seniors go, Andy. And I've said that before. And I think Q and Tyreek have both really stepped up. I thought with their leadership at TCU, man, you could hear them the entire game, before the game, after the game, during the game. And then, I was so proud. Think about this with Quentin. Quentin scores, I think, his career high against Western Carolina. Had 25 points, I believe, here against Western. The next game, he has 11 assists against TCU. He didn't take a bad shot the entire game. A lot of times what guys do is like, hey, he scored 25. Okay, well, I'm just going to jack up a few shots here. It's like I scored 25 last game. That shows maturity. And more than anything, again, I told him I thought that was the best game Quentin Gooden's ever played here at Xavier was at TCU. He dominated the entire game without scoring, just with the ball, with his decisions, his defense. He was terrific. And Tyreek obviously had a double-double. Tyreek can be as good as any big man in our entire league. And we need him to be that double-double guy night in, night out. So that challenge, they have answered it. Now they got to continue to answer it, right? We got a lot of season left, and there's a big opportunity waiting